I'm going to do is I'm streaming on a few platforms here at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one here, just for the time being.
Yeah.
Like that. Hopefully it won't fall over. It probably will a few times. And I could put another one here without putting my finger over there. Sorry about that. It's inevitably going to happen. Oops. Sorry about the losing you down the bed. I just want to maybe I could just ask you to hold that one like that.
Yeah.
For a shake.
Like that.
Okay. Just have a look and see what you're doing. And see, get a work out of where the camera is and how you can hold it. And we're just kind of like, we're just going to open this up and. Hey, Mummsy. We're just going to invite a few people to come and join us and hook into this little ceremony, and we're going to have a little exploration, and we're going to talk about so much, and we're just going to share this with you because your breath is very light now. Your breath is very light. And I've cried so much, we've all cried so much, but many of us don't know if we've got any tears left now. And I kind of wanted to open this with a friend, and actually what I'm going to do is, while the camera's on there, I'm just going to do a like on Mum's video via my Facebook, just so people can come through, and we can just try and open up this big circle of love, which is all of Mum's life, really. And so I'm just going to see if I go, hopefully, over to, if I do a search for that. Oh no, I don't want that one, do I? How do I find, Anthea is live. Send a message to Anthea, create a room. Create a room. Anthea will automatically be invited. I don't know if that's the best option, but maybe it is. No, it won't. I think what I'm going to try and do, oh look, there I am. I'm going to come onto there. Oh no, that's not that one. How do I go through to Anthea? That's what I've got to try and find out, how to find Anthea on there. Sorry about this. Anthea. Anthea was live, so hopefully live 13 and 5 others. I'm going to like that. And is that what we're seeing up on that one there? Okay, so I've liked that, and I'm just going to put a message, like something to Anthea. I'm just going to put something. Going to add a little comment to that, saying thanks so much for joining me here. Well, I don't know what's happened there, but I spelled that completely wrong. J-O-I. I know you're all watching. I'm just trying to create some links here. And so hopefully it's going to, now if I go onto my page, is that YouTube? Is that Facebook? I always get confused. I so don't know how to use Facebook anymore. Oh, that's where you go. That's, I guess, home now. Just going live. Just going live on my Mum's Facebook in her last hours. Thanks to all for sharing this circle of love. So hopefully we've created a little bit of a basically we created a little bit of a web of, you know, Mum channeled for many, many years, and so it was her partner for a long time, Peter, that was the channel. And apologies, I can't talk louder than this, simply because it's so obvious, isn't it? But a big part of her life was helping people make a connection. She doesn't really teach to channel. She teaches you to stop channeling. We're all trained into thought. It's like we're a castle, and we can exist in the tower way above all the noise, all the crocodiles, in the moat. But we're trained to tune into the moat, and she really is like bringing you above that space, so you're above your doubt, you're above all of that which wants to tear apart any idea that you should get hold of that is not part of the mainstream agenda. And so she teaches these techniques. Her whole life is really about teaching these techniques. Isn't it, Mummsy? Beautiful journey, every part of your life. Today's a 9, by the way. Today's a 9 in terms of numerology. Like it's the 16th, 1 and 6. Is it the 16th today? It's the 16th, I think. 1 and 6 is 7. 2 7s are 14 because it's July. 14, 2020, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 1 and 8, the 9. 9 is a number that Mum loves, because 9 means service. It's the last number before you go to the next one up, which is 10, or in that case 1 and 0 is 1, back, beginning the cycle again, going round. And that's where you offer everything back to number 1, because you're leaving and going to the next cycle. So your last part is helping other people come into number 1. So your last part is in service to the whole system, where you help those come in at the very beginning when you leave right at the end. So that is, for me, for Mum, that is she would like that day to leave. This is a sort of day that she would have planned for. But tomorrow is the 17th, and that's 1 and 7, 8 plus 7 is 7, 2, 7. What's that? 1 and 8 plus 7. 1. Did I say the 18th or the 17th? 16th, 17th. 1 and 7 is 8. Yeah, so plus 7 is 15. Plus 2, 16, 17, 18, 19. 1 and 9. That's a 10. That's a 1. So tomorrow is also...
Somebody's put 9 as the still point. Somebody's put 9 as that is the still point.
That's nice.
It feels very still here, doesn't it? It's beautiful energy.
I've cried so much. I've cried so much. There's so much celebration around here, so much singing. Sometimes her face has just been Elfie. I spoke to my mum via the phone. It's a lovely little girl. She's not so little anymore. But she said, hi, Anthea. Mum opened her eyes to her. Well done, Alfie. Big love out to everyone who wants to connect here, you know, through the channeling circles. That she opened up a big circle of love, and she was always telling you will open up such a massive circle of love in your life. And she so has done that, and I just hooking everyone up here to connect, because she was the one who helped me, her and my stepfather, Peter. I know he'll be now. Incredible, big barrel chest man who just like the last person you'd ever expect to be a channel would become a channel. Only because of his history. He came in the Navy, was a boxer in the Navy, hard as nails. Brought up in kind of orphanages. Parents died during the war and all that sort of stuff, really hard life. Had to really learn to fight to survive. And then at the end of it becomes channeled something completely different. Something completely beautiful. I'm just going to close that door a little bit. Out there. Just to control the sound a little bit. But I want to talk about a little bit more about what I touched on the last time I spoke here, about astronomically where we are. As much because on this one over here, and this on this feed over here, and this live stream over here goes to my YouTube channel, and this one goes to obviously my mum's Facebook channel, and as I've got many friends in my YouTube group, or my subscribers, that have been a massive part of the support for me doing the type of research that I've been doing, which for me has been taking everything that Mum, Dad and all those who've been teaching us and taking it to a level. You know, Mum came down to the yard where I live. She came down to the yard in 2011. It was the last time she channeled White Cloud. And she said, sweetheart, White Cloud's asked for me to come down and channel for you. He has a message for you. And I was like, okay. So I thought it was quite exciting. And then she came down and she sat down and she said, okay. And she sat down and she did her thing. And she does it so, you know, when Peter used to channel, it was like a big death rattle. It was a big death rattle. And she did it in this, you could feel her going through, just like you could feel when Peter went through. Just so fantastic, the energy, you know. And he came through and he said, we have you here in the ocean, in the sea of Avalon, where I was living on the levels. And he said, this is going to be good for your emotion, good for your writing, because of the intense emotion that is focused in this space. And he said, if you can move this energy successfully, it will be very powerful for you. Meaning, if you don't move it successfully, it will be utterly destructive. And we all know what that's like, to be in a really creative place and blocked up. And you can't move it out. You can't get it all out. You feel blocked up and you feel pain and frustration and anger and all those terrible things that really make you feel so frustrated, that make you leave the very place that was the most powerful place for you sometimes, just because it was so powerful and you weren't a conduit for that. You weren't allowing yourself to be a conduit for that. That powerful place drives you away in the end. And so what I'm doing here is I've got the circle completely open to all those who want to sing, and all of those who want to kind of bring kind of expression, because I know that many are watching. I can just see someone who's turned up now. These lovely ladies come in to sing for Mum. She's been part of the ashram group for a very long time. Wakes up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock every morning, goes to the ashram, meets them all there. They all have full days of wonder, singing and doing so much. And then just when most people are sort of like waking up and getting about their normal days, they're all on their way home. They're all on their way home. All of Laughing Gas was written at, 5 o'clock in the morning. It was all of it, the whole process. When I was a kid, it was always about waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning. And that wonder of that morning day, that early morning. Hello, sweetheart. Do feel to come in. Do feel to. We're just having the. Do you want to pull that window open a little bit?
I'm stuck on a chair. Hang on.
It's just the circle. I'm just doing that little live stream where I'm just sending it out, but that makes it. I'm just opening up to everyone to come in and see it. And there's certain times when people can sing and do whatever they want to do. It's a real open-ended bracket, as it always been. I just want to keep that link, so don't feel that you have to go or do and feel. There's places to see it, so just feel totally free to be involved. I'm just keeping that circle open.
I actually came to see if you needed any help, if you need anything.
Oh, bless you,
Any
sweetheart.
food bringing around or help around here or anything.
I've got, everyone's bringing so much. It's just so wonderful. But whatever you wish to bring here into this space, please just feel totally feel to because she loved you dearly, you know.
Yeah.
Remind me your name. I'm so terrible.
Claire.
Claire.
Because I changed it to Camilla.
Can I?
You were singing so beautifully yesterday. It was just so lovely, and all that everyone just coming and bringing. So like, I always get confused with all the ashram names and all the sort of like everyone around here. I'm just terrible with names. Trying to keep
well,
up.
we've all got 2 names around there, so yeah. But she knows me as Claire, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
bless you, bless you. So wonderful. Thank you for all that you brought into this little energy. It's so refreshing. It's just like, you know, we are, like I say, inviting it open to all to come in and add energy and just
gorgeous, being in the presence of the divine.
She's so lovely. She's such a divine creature, aren't you, Mumsy?
So peaceful.
As we're talking now, though, I can see her breath is still quite strong. Really, it's been. This is
isn't it?
the 4th day. Actually, no water, no food.
Wow.
You know, and it's just, hey, Karen.
Hey,
So we're just keeping that space and just like. But you're welcome to come in and sit in and just do whatever you
I
like.
literally just wanted to pop my head in lowercase and just say,
Let me just give you.
see what you need, really. I'll pop round again at some point.
Okay, lovely.
Alright, bless you.
Bless you, Claire. Hey, Mumsy. So precious, Mumsy. It's so beautiful. Just opening this circle with so many people, just so they can join in and join your little circle of love. Join your little circle of love. So what else can I tell you? Like I say, can I tell you, especially for the people on Facebook, you know, and my friends and her friends, and yeah, he said you're going to get a message. That's what I keep going with this little. He said you're going to get a message. This is what Mum channeled, and I said, and then she said, he said through her, he said, you're going to get a message. And when you get that message, you're going to be completely on your own. You're going to be completely on your own. You're going to be, it's your dream, but it's also it will be the hardest thing you've ever done, and you'll be completely on your own. You'll have to navigate on your own, and you'll have to make decisions. There'll be no one you can turn to. You'll have to make decisions, and you'll have to think very, very independently. And he said, I want you to also know that I've bound you to yourself. I've bound you to yourself. And what's really happening right now is, in this big transition, is the door's not opening. There's no cosmic door opening. It's already open. It's wide open. It's been open for really quite a long time. What's actually happening here is the door is closing. The door is closing. That's why you're hearing all these stories. You can't even have any theatre that makes you laugh in case you can, because it's you know, just like the circus is not allowed to produce funny material. I just said that because Lisa's just sitting here and she's just kind of like she just mentioned she'd seen the story that theatre can go along as long as it's not funny. I just ended up laughing hysterically. I laughed so much I nearly kind of died. I asked my mum, I said, are you scared someone's going to come around and kill you with COVID? She nearly died laughing. Yes, you, Mumsy. She's in that special cocoon stage. I know she can hear everything. She's so conscious, Mum. She's so conscious. But all our energy right now is just focused on the absolute breath and just being here in that absolute point of consciousness. I can always tell when she's here because of her little forehead. She's holding that presence and that space. She's totally with us. She's the most intuitive person I've ever met.
The carers coming.
Oh, the carers are coming for a shake. So we're just going to keep this open. But we're kind of like, we'll point the cameras out the window while they do this, and you can all have a look at the garden.
I'll take him out the garden.
Yeah, take them out to the garden. Do you want to take that one as well?
Yeah, how am I going to do that? Okay.
So lovely.
Is that doing that, or is that that way out? I don't know. You're seeing me, or I don't know if you're seeing me or the flowers. Look at these beautiful flowers. It's all blooming in this garden. It's full flowers. Such a beautiful energy here.
Just dry lips, haven't you, sweetheart? There you go, you've done it now. That was a bit scary, wasn't it? That was a bit scary. But we supported your hips the way you like it. Your legs are not touching. They're perfect. Your little back. Oh, Mumsy, you are such a precious, precious being. Do you know that? Precious to so many people.
Just
I'm going to try.
got a message. She loves a laugh. I have so many hysterical giggles with your mum. How we laughed.
I'm so sorry I haven't got back to anyone on Facebook. It's just been a full-on process of just doing this, really. Every part of it. Every part of it. Just getting it to this place. There's been so much attention. The only bit I can't do now is do her changing because it's so painful. Isn't it? It's so painful, it just hurts. I just stay with her. And we just make sure that she knows it's just going to be the least amount. She's such a perfect being. Oh, Mumsy, we're so here with you. You look so beautiful. You look so beautiful. You got your beads. Oh. You precious thing. You've got so many friends hooking into this big circle of love that you spent your life creating. So many, so far and wide.
It's got this lady, Jake, hello dear Jake, Nichols and Laylee. Hello dear Anthea, tell her how loved she is from me. She's an angel on earth.
Oh, she's so easy, that. We're connecting to this lovely circle. So many of your friends are clicking on here and just seeing what a wonderful being you are. Just tuning in.
Sending you lots of love, sweet Anthea, and everyone with you from Karina, Krishna, Pira, Masa. Can't say the words.
Such a massive team of, when you start seeing the massive picture behind all the channeling that Peter and Mum did, and the whole opening that many people she's channeled for over the years, and this process of coming to this point where you find your pathway, whatever it is, and you're passionate about your pathway, really passionate, and you can tap into the highest energy that powers you forward, because you can tap into your own deepest intention. And when you can track your own intention to a pure, valuable, powerful place, you empower it. We don't often hook up our intentions properly. We don't power our intentions and bring all the right energy into the process. Mum showed you how to bring the right energy into the right process. She showed you just to kind of remind you how beautiful you are. That you're a divine being and that everything you want is divine. She makes you divine, she makes your intention divine, and then the gods want to step in and help you when you realise that you have divine intention. The gods can step in, but they can't always step in if you don't really truly even know your intention. But when you realise your intention is so powerful, it's so beautiful, it's so valuable, it's so pure, under all the kind of the maze of thought and doubt, the disease of the mind which is subverting humanity now, when you rise above that and you come to the pure intention of what you truly are, then the gods step in. They empower everything you do. They just step in because they love it, and everyone wants to be involved because they feel it. They don't know what they feel. They don't know why they feel it. It don't make sense. It's not fair. But it just feels so good. That's what Mum was. Didn't matter where she went, people just wanted to help her because she just enthused with her presence. Just enthused with her presence. Just does it all the time. Even through this whole process, Mumsy, you just beamed massive light. It's so lovely to share this. I've been on such a crazy journey over the last 10 years since I got the message that white cloud gay, that became my whole Planet X thing, and that's been such a crazy journey. It's been such a beautiful journey as well. The only person who's really backed me in that all the way has been not the only person, I can't say the only person, because Virginia was amazing. Virginia was so amazing. Bless you, Virginia, for all the effort that you put in, helping with all those videos that I posted. So much effort, so much work, so much research. So much love for you, Virginia. So much love for you. And all those who've helped me. Steve Olsen's another one. He's a massive YouTuber that has just got a massive audience, and he's really puts himself out there on the line. And he's been, all these people I've met via YouTube, all these other channels, all these channels that we're hooked up with, and we work together on so many different platforms. And we've kind of built so many different models to try and work out all the different types. And Steve's been right up there in the front of all of that. Steve Olsen, he's got a lovely son that got paralysed because of a terrible accident. From the neck down, dealing with that, and his partner, his wife, she's been dealing with cancer as well, and so he's had it all on his plate. And whilst doing that, running a channel for virtually no money.
I'm going to drop it. Where can I put it? My hand's about to fall off.
Right, so we'll put this one over here. We just keep this link open. Over there. Hopefully you can all see me over there. Sorry about the sound. But, you know, just any type of when you're running whatever you call it, a news channel or a news feed or a blog or whatever, and you're exposing your deepest truths, which go against the status quo, and you put yourself in the line to get really quite tagged, and it's been so lovely to have a mum. She's always there, shielding the blows more than anyone else, I guess. And I've got a lovely dad as well, bless him. And I've got a lovely brother, actually. I've got lovely friends. And I invest a lot into my friends, and I think sometimes, maybe not so much on Facebook. I found Facebook a bit difficult sometimes. YouTube has been this odd thing, because you had all these other people out there with these really amazing opinions going out there on an edge, far more than they do on YouTube, and so we all support each other on that channel, on that platform. So it's become this much more, even though they're really trying to shut it all down now and make you feel as if you don't exist, you know. And it's I went out to America on my big tour, you know, when I predicted a big flyby on the 21st of January 2017, and it filled up the Mexican skyline. It was a massive one. It came with an 8.0 earthquake in Papua New Guinea. It was an epic sight. It was the day of Trump's inauguration. You can imagine Steve Olsen was just like, oh, okay, that is just fantastic. Steve Olsen was the one who booked the big conference in America. And so I had so many friends who supported me in America when I got there. And bless you for all those of you that were there for that. Bless you, bless you, bless you. You know, you've got one on me here. You've got sort of like you've got adventures here waiting for you if you come over to England and you want to hang out here. You know, I've got a lot of lovely friends out there that kind of like hanging around with sort of like with wide-eyed Yankees. I loved America so much. I loved it. It was so lovely to go out there. So much fun to go out there and be greeted by people that were open-minded to cosmic ideas. You know, we close our minds because we're in a Copernicus system. We're in this kind of religious system that our sun is the center of everything, and all the planets orbit around it. And I don't see it that way. And the evidence I offer in all my videos shows a very different pattern, shows a very different thing. And it shows that Mum was born in 1944, and we were actually Jupiter was just going past our sun in a very different fashion to what you've been led to understand. And it's right back at that same place. Imagine a dolphin, that's what I was talking about before. Imagine a dolphin shooting out the water and then coming down here. That is two separate ecliptic planes crossing each other. And that crossing point is like the ocean. And when our sun goes through one aspect of it, it goes over the top and it comes back down the other side. Very different to most notions, but that notion, that crossing point, that's when we first crossed. That's when my stepfather, Peter, arrived, which ironically was when 1930 we discovered Pluto. That's just about the time my stepfather arrived. And then 1941, 42, my real father, that's when he arrived. You know, and then 30, and then 44, all during the war, apart from my stepfather, obviously. They were born during a war. And there's always wars when we're very close to Jupiter, because it's a time of expansion where we can connect to our true highest aspiration and bring in our highest self. And then when we go past Jupiter, we go into a space of from duality into singularity. And then it's the decision point, which soul you want to be. And you're just in this decision point. the first question I asked when I went out to South America on my journey writing Laughing Gas, I said, I just want to understand what the hell is going on. And the answer I got was, put simply, your earth will no longer support duality. And what it means is that we come into a state of singularity and we have a choice. They want us to be our most boring, horrible, ugly, shut down human being. They don't want to let in the clown. They don't want to let in the clown. They don't want to let in the joker. They want to shut that one down. They want to make that so you don't even know it's there, because there's no space for it to express itself. You don't even know how to voice it because you can't channel it in any way. You can't allow it to speak through you. You have to cover your mouth. You can't say any jokes. Can't be funny. Excuse me, mate. It's a criminal offence to be funny. I mean, and the way it does this is, well, I mean, you know, you think about it in a different way. Think about it in this way. If you go to 1846, and you add, I can't remember the exact details, but I can't remember the exact orbits. I haven't got everything all written down here, and there's so many orbits to bring in here. I know a few of them, enough for you to work it out. You'll work it out here. So if you go to 1846 and you add the duration of Neptune's orbit to the year it was discovered, you come to 2011, the year Fukushima occurred. If you minus the duration of Neptune's orbit from the day it was discovered, you come to 1681. You come to the year Isaac Newton discovered Halley's Comet. If you go forward from that date, 1681, 84 years, that's the duration of Uranus orbit. If you go 84 years, you come to the year Uranus was discovered. If you add another 84 years, you come to the year Neptune was discovered, 1846. If you add another 84 years, you come to the year Pluto was discovered. If you add another 84 years, you come to now where Eris was discovered. In actual fact, if you go back to 1681, when those comets were seen flying around something, and you go back another 84 years, you come to exactly 1596, when the first dwarf planet was ever discovered. All of the dwarf planets you've got beyond Jupiter and Saturn all fall 84 years apart. Everything is running at 84. Isn't that a bit odd? Isn't that a bit coincidental? It's like if you saw the moon and I said, that's the moon, and then it comes up again, and I say, and you say to me, oh, the moon, and I say, no, that's not the moon. That's Uranus. And you're like, oh, it looks like the moon. And then it comes around 84 years later, and you're like, I'm like, oh, Uranus. No, the moon. Uranus, the moon. And I'm like, no. That's Neptune. You know, we keep doing this. We keep running this story. Right now, we're all going up on the top of the tour, and we're seeing this beautiful comet coming in the morning hours, just when it coming into the dawn. Everyone's filming it. It's exactly my last video, the one I told you was coming in. We've just done the last. We've seen all the shots of it. And in my next video, when I do the proper overlays, I'll bring all the flybys in, as we've just had. But you'll see it exactly coming in. These objects orbit round Jupiter. And we've deducted our binary twin from the story of our system that we're in. So we don't have an idea of our galactic center, of our galactic authentic self of who we truly are. And then we're bombarded with a narrative of thoughts, a government to govern, to rule over our minds, mente, mind. It's written on the packet. We see these incredible storms coming because of these massive, when these comets go flying by Earth, they excite the magma in our core, and that spews out of the volcanoes. Many volcanoes, the entire ring of fire. 29 new volcanoes in Antarctica. New ones. All the melt happening on the Antarctic side, on the Pacific Basin. Of the Pacific Basin side of Antarctica. And then you've got the entire Emperor Hawaiian Seamount chain going from Big Island, Krakatoa, going all the way up to the Kamchatka Peninsula, 4,600 miles of underwater volcanoes erupting, boiling the oceans, taking all this moisture up. Boom. Creating all this rain. You look at the Yangtze River now. The dams are near collapse. Remember the last time they were like this, with most serious flooding, was when Pluto was discovered in 1930. 1930, exactly the same thing. And then we see the cycles of Jupiter, and the way Jupiter moves as we go through this cycle is not Jupiter is concentric orbit round planet X, the dwarf planet, whatever you want to call it, our binary twin. But our motions of our sun is not concentric, it cuts across. So we have this range of movement where we have 1939, when Carlos Ferrada predicted a massive earthquake in Chile because planet X would go by. Thousands of people died exactly where he said, just when the Second World War begins. And this is when my parents came into this world at this point. And then we go on these cycles around where we go past Jupiter, comes past us once, twice, and it doesn't really affect us. It's not till 1975, 74, 75. The Yangtze River floods again. One of the dams completely collapses. The carbon levels start rising again. And as the carbon levels rise, due to all the volcanic activity, we're told we have to build nuclear power stations on the fault lines to stop the carbon dioxide coming out of the volcanoes. And we build more and more nuclear power stations. And then we go 1975, the next cycle we come to, in 1975 we had a comet. Then we come to 86, the next cycle. Chernobyl goes bang. And we get Halley's Comet, the next sighting. Then we come to 1990, the next cycle of Jupiter. And we see Halley Bob and we see all the beautiful sightings. And then we come to the next cycle. Starting to get to the big cycles now. March 2011, Fukushima goes bang. 3 nuclear power stations go by. And we're pumping out nuclear power stations to stop the carbon dioxide spewing out of the volcanoes. In a story where we just choose not to see because. And now we see the cycles since they're getting bigger, as I've charted so many of them. And they get bigger and bigger. And for everyone that goes by, it's not the end, it's the grand revealing. The breaking down of the deception, where you see through it. It's just an unraveling of the deception. That's what Mum has opened up. She has channeled all her life these beings that help teach us and navigate back to our galactic center where we can see the truth. No one can believe it because it goes against the government. It goes against it. We can't look at it, we feel as if we're attacking our own if we don't allow them to build nuclear power stations on fault lines to stop the carbon dioxide coming out of volcanoes. We watch our children die. We watch our mothers die. We watch our fathers die. We're seeing the truth that is unfolding. My mother brings out this truth. She opens up this truth. That's all she does. She has opened a pathway to track your intentions back to blissful, supreme, valuable, honourable, divine intentions, to bring those into yourself and to honour a higher path, above the noise, to go, to connect high, super high. It's the same story going round and around and around. You can just see nuclear power stations, and we come into big flybys now, the biggest. We have this one, the last time we saw it on the 3rd of July last year, 2019. We saw it coming in. Alex Luhan of the Planet X channel posted it up. Epic shot of it. We had earthquakes in California, exactly the same day when it flew by. And then we saw all the subsequent flybys. This year we've got this one coming. It moves one exact calendar month with the movement of Jupiter. So this year it comes in around about early August. We start getting the passage. We're very close. We're seeing it coming in. Now, that will pass us in about August. Just like the one that just passed us a month before, bringing many volcanoes, many earthquakes. Beautiful images, epic images, just like the ones I showed you in December, January. Where it's like Jupiter is ascending. That's what's happening. It's not really ascending. It's our whole solar system is descending through. The ecliptic plane of the Planet X system that we're really orbiting, this binary system that we're really in, that we're only be given a very small part of the story. And so it's an unraveling. And Mum now, she departs exactly where she came in when we were right next to Jupiter. The closest we'll be, there's only 2 cycles where we're in 336 year cycle. It takes our sun to go round. It takes our sun to go round the system. There are 2 places in that cycle that we're close. They're 84 years apart. You know, and then we pass them. You know, it's a very simple system. It's not nearly as complicated as it seems. It's very, very, very simple. It's not nearly as complex as most seem to think. It's a very simple system that's been made actually even more complex. And so as I've charted it, we have all the last bits of data now. With the last flyby that just come in now, we have all the last bits of data. All the last bits. We'll see it on early August this time. It won't be massive. It will have a few earthquakes in the northern hemisphere and around the northern aspects of the Pacific Basin. And across Europe and China, which is very dangerous because that dam is really full and fully flooded, and there's going to be earthquakes in China. You know, there's going to be earthquakes in Europe, there's going to be earthquakes in North Africa, and there's going to be earthquakes, you know, it's going to occur in the northern hemisphere because that's where this aspect of the flyby is all coming in now. On the 5th of August 2011, after Fukushima, it was all in the southern aspect, but it's slowly moving up through, and now all the earthquakes are starting to happen right at the very top, on all the fault lines and all the weakest points. And the Pacific Basin is always going to go there. You know, it's the biggest release point. But then we come round, and when we come in from November to 2020, right up to March 2021, we have big flybys. We have a lot of activity that we're going through. We've got some of the biggest stuff coming in now. So you've got to ask yourself, why is this all happening? Why don't they want you to know it? You know, think about the last aspect, you know, at the time of Galileo. Well, I call my timeline the Galileo timeline. You're led to believe that the Copernicus system exists because of Galileo's telescope. It's not true. It's just not true. Galileo saw Jupiter super close, very near. He got it with a 20 times telescope, like
massive with all his moons. That was not the Copernicus model. That's not the standard model. It's like we saw it in 2018. Everyone was getting these images of Jupiter massive and blue. No one was questioning how the hell was Jupiter so massive? How could it be so massive? How can you allow that? How didn't it just destroy Mars when it came through so close? How could that be? So we have a big change, and when we go past this, it pulls. The electromagnetic energy is so severe on this planet that it pulls astral energy clean away. Anything not rooted into the human heart is like the leaves of a palm tree. In a great storm, anything that's not rooted in the human heart cannot stay attached to a human being through that. It is a wild tempest of Shakespearean proportion. In actual fact, the Shakespeare play was first performed 2 years after the Great Tempest in 1582. Then, 1588. 1582 was when the calendar changed, when it went from a 30-month calendar to a 12-month calendar, from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. All at the same time, 1596, the first dwarf planet. 1613, Galileo sees, and we have Kepler at the same time working out all the 3 laws of of orbital mechanics. And then, you got 84 years later, and like I say, Isaac Newton is recalculating Kepler's 3rd law, coming up with gravity. Or because he's seen these comets, he sees this comet, it's amazing. He sees it in November, one comet going round every 84 years, and then 1 month later, another comet comes, just like we're seeing now, except no one talks about that. No one mentions that because it's too complicated for the theory. So we just sweep it under the carpet, like we're sweeping all of these comets coming in. Massive load of stream. We've seen so many. We've just had Atlas in this year. We've just had Atlas. Now we've got Comet Neo. They make it up as they're going along, a new name every 200 days, over and over. Since 2011, it's a no par. When you consider nuclear power stations, we live in a basin carved out by a nuclear power station in 1606, right here where I stand. And they built a nuclear power station right at the entrance. You think about the Yangtze River, built in the name of carbon dioxide. They got all the funding because of all the carbon trading. So this massive dam built at the very top, many massive dams all down from it. You think how many people, 400 million people live downstream from it. 400 million. Wuhan, a massive city, is downstream from this dam. Shanghai is downstream from this dam. Shanghai is easily the biggest city in China. They're all sitting down from this dam, all built in the name of carbon dioxide. You have to go and buy a car. You buy a car, it consumes 1,000 times more, 100 times more fuel than the car will ever consume in its lifetime. In manufacture. And most of that is in coal and nuclear energy. Here in China, there's a lot of, because of the generators, there's a lot of hydropower, it's true. But there's a lot of nuclear power stations that also sit down from that dam. Can you imagine the devastation if those dams do go like Fukushima and Chernobyl? Every time this has passed and there's been a nuclear power station running, every time we have lost 1% of our reactors. Every time, 1%. In Chernobyl, and 1% of all the Earth's reactors with Fukushima. Look at the cancer. Look at the cancer. We're dying. We're all having very short lifespans, and then we're going into hospitals and existing on morphine for the last 10, 20 years of our lives. My mum's lost 1 score, 20 years of her life for this. How many will you lose? She's dying in the basin that was carved out by a tsunami. That in the entrance, they built a nuclear power station. They're all around you. This world has been booby-trapped. Literally. You're being blinded from what is happening right under your noses. The biggest storms you've ever seen, they fit into absolute immaculate points. You go to, not just, you can just see it over and over. The maths of it are so perfect. You see the cycles of it. I can show you such precise orbital mechanics to this all the way through, because we have computers that can calculate these. Even 20 years ago, Carlos Ferrada in 1939, he was still banging on about the same thing. That's like, who's the other one? Who's the 12th planet? Zakai Sitchin. His classic model, where our sun is the centre of it, and this massive, huge dwarf planet, along with Jupiter, along with Saturn, all orbit a little sun. A sun that is hydrogen at the very beginning of the periodic table, going into helium, starting this grand journey of becoming a gas giant. And yet we're told these massive gas giants all orbit the thing that's right at the beginning. It's like, it's the other way round. It's obviously the other way round. Everything's upside down. Everything's reversed. It's the Poseidon adventure. And we're just choosing not a side, not a side. We're choosing a soul. All of you are choosing a soul right now. They're feeding you a story to make you emotionally disconnect from your highest self. So you choose your ego. It's not an invasion. It's a choice. They offer you a choice. There's no aliens coming flying in because they have no power here. The only power is what you're willing to give to them. The stupidity and the naivety you're willing to offer them. The blinkered belief stories you throw in the face of what they say. This reoccurring story, you've simply taken Christ off the cross. And you've put the earth on it. And you've said, to save the earth, you need to cover it with nuclear power stations, or you're a sinner. It's the same hill of thorns that we're asked to make our sacrifice over and over. Everything is the same. This free trade deal, they're trying to sign us, trying to get the world into a free trade deal. So this whole agenda keeps going on, and we're signed in by contract because they cannot invade. Because they have no power. Because we are sovereign. We are sovereign. So sorry for whispering. But we're in a crazy time now. We're in a crazy place. There's a monster coming over the hill, and we can all see it. We can all see it. We just don't believe it. We choose to not believe it. We can see the insanity of what's happening. We can watch our friends dying, our loved ones suffering. If we question it, we're attacking our own. We're attacking our own. If we attack this ludicrous idea, for being a channel, for bringing the wisdom that you've brought into my life. The beauty you've brought into so many people's lives. For paying for my book to be published. For the help you've given me all the way through, the support, for all the wisdom, all the fun, all the happiness, all the joy, all the support, all the encouragement, all the enthusiasm, all the beautiful walks, the music, the caring, the softness, the inspiration, the utter wisdom in your every step. You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. You put so much in. It's all you. Helping me tap into White Cloud's messages. Sacred angel. Oh, let me just give you all a little tour. Let me take the little camera here and just give you all a little view here. Mumsy, you are so beautiful. So beautiful. So sweet. So lovely. So amazing. You've been so behind me in so many ways. So the battery's starting to go on all of these devices and it's getting hot now. So what I'm going to do, if they stay there, what I'm going to do is, because the batteries are running out, I'm just going to ask you to connect now with my mum wherever you are and open and join this big circle of love. Start tracking your intentions in this time. Feel her presence. Feel the presence of all the people you love. All the good. You don't want anything bad to happen. Think of all the good things you want to happen in this world. All the connection. And remember why you want to do the things you want to do. Don't you want to make this world a better place, a more beautiful place, to express love and light? Now's the time. So I'm going to close this circle off now, and there's going to be singing and dancing happening later, and I might open this circle when more people come in and let you connect with some of the dance. I've invited you all in to come round and be part. Those of you know her, you got your finger over the camera, maybe, sweetheart, and come in and get involved and celebrate. And I'm just going to say thank you so much. And as things progress, if more come round, fantastic. You know, just very gentle energy, very gentle singing, very gentle. But thank you all for what you've done and all the energy you've brought in. Bless you. Bless you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to put all these down now. It's taking me a little bit of time to shut them off, and then we'll open it up later. Hello, sweetheart.
I saw you on Facebook Live actually, but I felt too weird watching it when I was just around the corner. Hello.
Hang on a sec, I'm just going to say goodbye to those. I'm going to see you later, lovely people. Thank you so much. How do I end it?